Georgetown Day, Sandy Spring Friends, and Bethesda Chevy Chase meet today on It's Academic. And welcome to the first semifinal match here on It's Academic, the world's longest-running TV quiz show produced by Altman Productions, in association with David M. Rubenstein Productions and WETA.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.
Hello. Everybody is very excited about this semifinal match because these are all extraordinary students who bring it every time and love learning. So good for you guys, and I've got some questions for you. We begin, as we always do, with a fast start round. Questions are worth 10 points up or down. The first team to buzz in gets to answer. Teams. Lucky 7. All of your answers will be parts of your body whose names have exactly 7 letters. That means 7-letter answers. Found in your neck is this major T initial, BCC.
Trachea.
No, thyroid. Also in your neck is this major J initialed vein.
Jugular.
Yes, that's right, BCC. This is the scientific name for your windpipe. Sandy
Trachea.
Spring, sorry, yes. This thick triangular muscle covers your shoulder joint, Georgetown.
deltoid.
Deltoid is
Deltoid.
right. Followed by the word oblongata. This is part of your brain. Sandy
Medulla.
Spring. Yeah. This upper arm bone has a funny name. Yep,
Humerus.
Sandy
Humerus.
Spring. Correct. This major digestive organ is between your esophagus
Stomach.
and,
Stomach.
yes, GDS. Another name for this is tympanic membrane. Yes, BCC. Answer 3, 2, 1.
Muscle.
Eardrum. This C-initialed word is another name for your skull. Sandy Spring.
Cranium.
Cranium is right. Your breastbone has this medical name.
Sternum.
Yes, Sandy
Sternum.
Spring. That is correct, and that does it for our fast start round. Let's take a look at these scores. Georgetown Day 120, Sandy Spring Friends 150, Bethesda Chevy Chase 90 points. All right, we've seen a lot of these students over this season, and we're so happy to have them here again. But let's do introductions one more time. Over to Georgetown Day. Hello, Henry.
Hello, I'm Henry. I've been on It's Academic for, I think, 2 years now, and I'm a junior at GDS.
All right, Ben.
Hi, my name's Ben Hellman. I'm a senior at GDS. I've been the captain of this team for 3 years.
Awesome. And Houghton.
I'm Houghton. I'm a sophomore at GDS, and I've been on It's Academic for 2 years now.
All right, guys, I have questions for you. They're worth 20 points, nothing off for a wrong answer. Scorn eats up respect. Now, there's a profound thought, but if you study the sentence carefully, you can find the name for what transparent part of the eye?
Cornea.
Cornea is right. Intrinsic, intransigent, invidious. If a person takes a stand and will not be moved, you can best refer to them by which of these adjectives?
Intransigent.
Correct. Carbon, radium, neon. If you combine the chemical symbols for these elements, you can get the last name of what author of The Red Badge of Courage?
Crane.
Yeah. Love's Labor's Union Lost. You'll find 20 points if you eliminate one word to make this Shakespeare title correct.
Union.
Yes. Atahualpa, Montezuma, Aurangzeb. 2 of these men were rulers in the Americas. Which one was a Mughal emperor in Southern Asia?
Aurangzeb.
Yeah. Historians answer questions no one has asked. This is an observation from what Russian author who went through a lot of history in his novel, War and Peace?
Tolstoy.
Correct. Nice job, Georgetown Day. 240 points. Over to Sandy Spring Friends from Montgomery County. Hello, Justin.
Hi, my name is Justin. This is my second year on It's Academic, and I'm a junior.
Awesome. Diego.
Hi, I'm Diego. I'm a senior, and this is my second year on It's Academic.
And it's good to see you. Hello, Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'm a junior, and this is my first year on It's Academic.
Woohoo for that. Here we go. More chrome than ever. Hidden within this phrase is the name of what gas released by decomposing organic matter and represented by the formula CH4?
Methane?
Yeah. True, unrelated, sufficient. Which of these words most closely describes an idea that's extraneous?
Unrelated. Yeah.
Unrelated?
Yeah. Cobalt, yttrium, oxygen, tellurium. Please combine the chemical symbols for these elements to name what wild North American canine?
Coyote.
Yeah. In the timeshare of the butterflies? Not quite. Please eliminate one word to make this Julia Alvarez title correct.
Share.
Yeah. Sic semper tyrannis, habeas corpus, caveat emptor. John Wilkes Booth shouted which of these Latin phrases to a shocked audience after shooting Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater?
Sic semper tyrannis.
You are right. Her life, her fiction, her monster. These cheerful words subtitle a book about what English writer who created Frankenstein's monster?
Mary Shelley.
You are right. And that does it for Sandy Spring Friends, 270 points. And now over to Bethesda Chevy Chase from Montgomery County. Hiya, Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm a junior at BCC, and this is my first year on It's Academic.
All right, Micah.
Hi, I'm Micah. I'm also a junior at BCC, and this is my third year on It's Academic.
Nice. Seth?
I'm Seth. I'm a junior as well, and this is also my third year on the It's Academic team.
All right, team. Is pie still used? You can answer this question and get 20 points if you can find in this phrase the name of what seed-bearing part of a plant?
Pistol.
Yes. Philatelist, lyricist, hedonist. A person who devotes their life to seeking pleasure can best be referred to as which of these?
Hedonist.
Correct. Argon, uranium, barium. If you combine the symbols of these three elements, you can find the name of what Caribbean island?
Aruba.
Yeah. The Top Secret Life of Bees. I don't think so. Please eliminate one word to make the title of a book by Sue Monk Kidd correct.
Top.
Top is right. Andromeda, Helen, Penelope. Which of these three mythical beauties was chained to a rock and menaced by a sea monster before being rescued by Perseus?
Andromeda.
You're right again. Youth, looking at all of you, has a brilliance of its own. This observation can be found in the pages of Les Miserables by what French author?
Hugo.
Nicely done, Bethesda Chevy Chase, 210 points. And that does it for the mix and match round. We've got Picture Perfect next.
I'm David Rubenstein. From the Kennedy Center and the National Archives to the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, I've been pleased to support many important organizations and historic sites linked to American history, art, culture, education, and more. I believe giving back to our country isn't just an idea, it's an action, a patriotic action that involves all of us. And it begins with education and learning about our nation's past so that we, the people, can make a more perfect union for the future. We can do it together. Please read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
Are you ready for some pictures? Because we are. It's the Picture Perfect round. Questions are worth 20 points, up or down teams. And once again, of course, first team to buzz in gets to answer. These shells are known as the wings of what kind of celestial being usually?
Angels.
Yes, Georgetown. Dancers will recognize the Greek letter psi as part of the name of what Greek muse of dance? Anybody? The answer is Terpsichore. This drawing was a preliminary study for a large work by what 17th century Flemish artist whose first two names were Peter Paul?
Rubens.
Yep, Sandy Spring?
Rubens.
Correct. What is the value of this expression, BCC? In 3, 2, 1.
1 plus root 2.
No, it's just 1. This newspaper headline from 1945 refers to the signing of the UN Charter, which took place in what West Coast city? Yeah, Georgetown.
Francisco.
You're right. Here you see traditional homes near Suva, the capital.
Fiji.
Sandy Spring, you're right. I'd like to go there. Used in making yellow glass. This is the pentoxide
Vanadium.
of Georgetown. Yes, you're right. Nice. This mural was found in what underground chambers? Yes, Georgetown.
Pompeii.
No, catacombs used by early Christians in Rome for burials and meetings. And that does it for Picture Perfect. I love the enthusiasm, and we haven't even done the scores yet. Georgetown Day, 280 points. Sandy Spring Friends, 310 points. Bethesda Chevy Chase, 190 points. And now you can clap. So you know, all of these students are very capable of doing things on their own, but it doesn't hurt to have help. Let's meet the coaches and administrators who help prepare them. For It's Academic, we begin with Georgetown Day, home of the Grasshoppers. Ben.
All right, so we'd like to thank our alternate Lomon, the Hopper Evelyn, our associate head of school, Meg Goldner-Rabinowitz, and then most especially Sue Eichenberry, who's been coaching the GDS It's Academic team for 38 years.
Wow, 38 years, beautiful. To Sandy Spring Friends, home of the Wildebeest, Diego.
So behind me is our wonderful coach, Eduardo Pallone, who's founded the program and has been running it for now 10 years. And I'd also like to thank our two alternates, Ian Donahue and Steve Kim.
All right, beautiful. And finally, Bethesda Chevy Chase, home of the Barons, Micah.
Yeah, I want to thank our incredibly dedicated coach, Miss Lassar, and our wonderfully supported Vice Principal, Miss Blanford, and our teammate, Joseph, who's in the audience.
All right, thank you all so much for your support. All right, guys, it's time to begin the packet round. And in the packet round, Georgetown Day will answer questions first. Sandy Spring Friends will decide which packet they answer questions from.
Packet 2.
Packet 2. You know how this works, obviously. Questions are worth 20 points, nothing off for a wrong answer. But if you get all the questions right, there is a 25-point bonus, yeah. Carved from wood by Benjamin Banneker. One of his first clocks built in America kept perfect time for what number of years equal to 2 score?
40.
40 it is. A popular slogan of the French Revolution linked liberty and equality with what third word referring to brotherhood?
Fraternity.
Yeah. Physicist Glenn Seaborg discovered several elements, including what dangerous element with the symbol Pu?
Plutonium.
Right. Here's your science question. Autotrophic, heterotrophic, holozoic. Organisms which derive energy from simple chemical substances are known as which of these?
Autotrophic.
Yes. The theory that dinosaurs became extinct after a huge meteor slammed into Earth gained support when evidence of an enormous crater was found off what southeastern Mexican peninsula?
Yucatan.
Yeah. The first major study of voodoo in the United States was completed by what woman who also wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God?
Thurston.
Yes. Here's your math question. Solve for X.
7.
7 is right. Nicely done. And now, a guest questioner we have for you, Senator Chuck Schumer from New York State, the Senate Minority Leader, who is also an It's Academic alum.
Because it was settled in 1849 by captives who had been freed from a slave ship off the African coast, the name of Libreville was given to the capital of what country?
Team?
Gabon.
Yeah, I'm so glad you got that right. 25-point bonus, Georgetown Day. And now we turn the mantle over to Sandy Spring Friends, Bethesda Chevy Chase, 1 or 3?
We'll give them 1.
1. The ancient Romans made ink by combining soot, wine, and secretions from what sea creature with 10 arms and tentacles?
Squids.
Yeah.
Squids?
Yeah, that was pretty inventive. Borrowing a phrase from poet Walt Whitman, British author E.M. Forster titled his last novel A Passage to what major country on the Asian subcontinent?
India.
Yeah. What same civil war prompted Hemingway to write For Whom the Bell Tolls and Picasso to paint Guernica?
Spanish Civil War.
Yes, here's your science question. How many valence electrons are there in an atom of chlorine if the atomic number of chlorine is 17?
7?
Yes. The farthest individual star ever seen, a blue supergiant whose light is now reaching Earth after 9 billion years, has been named for what son of the mythical Daedalus?
Icarus. Icarus.
Yes. Former German soldier Erich Maria Remarque drew on his own military experience when writing All Quiet on the Western Front, a novel set during what war?
World War I.
Yeah, here's your math question. Solve for X, giving your answer as an integer.
9. Yeah.
9.
Correct. Your guest questioner is Amna Nawaz, PBS News co-anchor.
The French military was weakened politically following the notorious court case against what wrongfully convicted Jewish army officer sent to Devil's Island in 1895?
Alfred Dreyfus.
Nice. Sandy Spring Friends, 495 points. Getting a 25-point bonus. And now we go over to Bethesda Chevy Chase with packet number 3. Hours before Paris fell to the Nazis in 1940, a Jewish couple named Hans and Margaret Ray fled the city, carrying with them their manuscript about what playful monkey whose friend is the man in the yellow hat.
Curious George.
Yeah. When asked what was the world's greatest invention, 11% of respondents chose what prehistoric invention that works best on an axle.
Wheel.
Yes. Oklahoma City gained 10,000 residents the first day that what 1862 Congressional Act took effect, allowing settlers to claim land.
The Homestead Act.
Correct again. Science question. Hydrogen nucleus, alpha particle, beta particle. Which of these is the heaviest?
Beta particle.
No, alpha particle. In 1574, what English sea dog and privateer became the first Englishman to see the Pacific Ocean, even though he did it from the top of a tree in Panama rather than from the deck of his ship, the Golden Hind?
Drake.
Correct. The publication of a novel titled Mila 18 forced Joseph Heller to change the number in the title of his novel, Catch 18, to what new number?
22.
22 it is. Here's your math question. Solve for X.
1.
Oh, it's 2. And now your guest questioner, another It's Academic alum, Senator Angus King from Maine.
Almost 4,000 years ago, what Babylonian king developed a law code that included a minimum wage law?
Hammurabi.
Hammurabi is right. Bethesda Chevy Chase, home of the Barons, 310 points. You know what's next. It's the grab bag. See you in a minute.
Hello, I'm David Rubenstein. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln in his youth was a champion wrestler who lost only one match in 12 years? He's listed in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm David Rubenstein, reminding you to read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
We've got the Sandy Spring Cheer, the Sandy Spring Wildebeest, and the Georgetown Day Grasshopper. Yeah. All right, you know the grab bag is coming up, but first we want to ask these students a question. What's your most memorable experience been? We start with Georgetown Day and Henry.
I would say it was one time I got a question about Peter and the Wolf, and I'd been listening it in the car right here, so I don't know, that was just a cool moment.
That's wonderful. And fortuitous, of course. Ben?
Yeah, my favorite It's Academic memory was the first game that I played in a studio. Like, I really gained a lot of confidence in my ability to play the game, and that was, great for me.
That's wonderful. Hello, Houghton.
Yeah, I really enjoyed getting a Charles de Gaulle question one time, like almost instantly in the Picture Perfect round after recognizing his portrait.
That's good. And over to Sandy Spring Friends, Justin.
I think just being able to make it to the semifinals is really memorable for me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And Diego?
I think, just being able to do what I love with, two of my close friends who are not just my teammates, but close friends in real life. It's really, really special that I get to bond with these guys over this.
It's beautiful. And Nate?
Well, I think it was my first game here. Me and Diego were talking about Chincoteague right before, and then Chincoteague came up as the third question.
See, I think this is the universe tapping you on the shoulder. Bethesda Chevy Chase and Zach.
All right, my favorite memory from this year has got to be leading our team at the BCC Club Fair and trying to get people of all ages at BCC to join our wonderful club.
Did you find a lot of interest?
Yeah, we found a lot of people.
Oh, beautiful for that. And Micah?
My favorite moment from the school year was in comparative government, doing a mock British Parliament and have people yelling in British accents and doing a bunch of speeches. I was Prime Minister. It was very funny, I have to say.
I like that. Seth?
One of my favorite things that we do on the BCC ITSEC team is every year we have a staff versus students game, and that's always a ton of fun, really memorable. Get to put our knowledge to the test against some of the people who are teaching us that knowledge.
Well, we're thrilled to hear all of those wonderful experiences you guys have had, and we love any small role we've had in making them. Okay, guys, grab bag round. In this round, questions are worth 20 points up or down. The first team to buzz in gets to answer. One theory regarding the missing crew of the Marie Celeste, a ship found drifting in the Atlantic in 1872, was that they were killed by what legendary K-initialed sea monster, Sandy Spring.
The Kraken?
Yes. In recent years, the Bangladesh town of Cox's Bazar has become the center of the Rohingya refugees from what country?
Myanmar?
Yeah. To help time his experiments, scientist Christian Huygens invented clocks that use what long swinging?
Pendulum.
Georgetown, yes. On your screens. As this poster indicates, Japan hosted the 1972 Winter Olympics at Sapporo, a city on Bethesda Chevy Chase.
Hokkaido?
Yes. South Carolina was the first of 11 states to join the Confederacy. The last was what volunteer state? Sandy
Tennessee.
Spring. Yeah, choice. The speed of light and water was first measured by Michelson, Morley, or Foucault?
Foucault.
Yes, that's right. Georgetown Day in 1970, the United States government returned to the Taos Indians about 48,000 acres of tribal land in what?
New Mexico.
Yes, very good. Georgetown Day on your screens. An exaggeration is a truth that's lost its temper. These were the words of what Lebanese American who wrote the 1923 book, The Prophet, which has been translated into over 100 languages. The answer is Kahlil Gibran. While Alice is in Wonderland, she meets what sort of clumsy, now extinct bird whose name Georgetown Day correct. Among the unusual items insured by Lloyd's of London was what German Zeppelin, Bethesda Chevy Chase?
Hindenburg.
Yeah, better late than never might have been the attitude of diplomats negotiating what 1648 peace agreement. Westphalia is right. Georgetown Day on your screens. This nebula is part of what constellation that includes the stars Rigel and Betelgeuse? Yes, Sandy
Orion?
Spring, you've got it. Andrew Carnegie had the line, "Let there be light," on what public buildings that he endowed? BCC?
Libraries.
Correct. In Greek mythology, after crossing the river Styx into Hades, the souls of the dead drank from what other? Sandy Spring?
Lethe.
Yes, that's right, Lethe. Choice. The apparent oscillatory east-west motion of the moon, as viewed from Earth, is called aberration, libration, or ionization.
Aberration.
No, it's Libration Georgetown Day on your screens. You can't win through negotiations what you can't win on the battlefield. These were the words of what German-born American Secretary of State who won the Yes,
Kissinger.
BCC Kissinger is right. Declaring she kept the nest that hatched the egg, President Andrew Johnson approved the death sentence of what woman convicted in? Mary Surratt is right. Sandy Spring, friends, and that does it. That is the end of our first semifinal game. We're going to be back with the scores in just one moment, so please stay where you are.
I'm David Rubenstein, and I believe giving back is something we all can do. Many students are getting involved in their communities in important ways. I've asked them to share with us how they're making a difference.
Hi, I'm Abigail from Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. How I like to help out my community is through running a reading competition for elementary and middle schoolers. For the past 2 years, we've been gathering students from all over DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia to participate in a competition where they work together in teams to answer questions about books that they've read. I think my work is important because part of growing kids into lifelong learners is by growing them into lifelong readers, and it's been really rewarding to see kids get really excited about reading through the competition.
Like these students, you too can help improve the lives of so many people by volunteering in your town and community. Please read, learn, get involved, and make a difference.
The The scores are now official, but I want to say, you guys, every single one of you are amazing. And we are fortunate that all of you have participated in It's Academic. So let's do these scores. We begin with Bethesda Chevy Chase, home of the Baron, Zach, Micah, Seth, 390 points. From Georgetown Day School, home of the Grasshoppers, taking their 25-point bonus, Henry, Bent, and Houghton, 545 points. And coming back for the championship game, Sandy Spring Friends, home of the Wildebeest, Justin, Diego, Nate, 615 points. Way to go. Thanks so much for being with us on this first semifinal match, and we're so happy to have you, like us, believe in education and believe in these students. Remember, everybody, it's academic. Bye-bye.
Support for It's Academic has been provided by the following: George Mason University, all together different.
Call us different.
Different in where we come from,
Where we're going,
and how we think.
but the same in our dreams for tomorrow.
Driven by the pull of possibility.
To inspire,
To think fearlessly. To protect and to heal the planet. We know the world will change.
together.
We will be the ones to change it.
Call Mason different. All
Together different.